to support the investment in housing, in equity, in real sectors. But now, financial crisis erupted. There's a need to deleveraging. That means that in the past, $1 may circulate 3-4 times a year and now reduced to 1 or 2 times a year. So total fund available will be reduced. And that will push up the interest rate, real interest rate. And that will replace the investment and the consumption. So further demand reduced. At the same time, we know that U.S. need to rebalance its consumption and investment. In the 1990s and before, the consumption in the U.S. as a percentage of GDP was about 67% of GDP. And in the 2000 and onward, it increased to 70%, 3 percentage point increase. And those 3 percentage point increase was supported by huge accumulation of household debt. In the 1990s, the household debt as a percentage of household disposable income was 77%. And in 2007, it increased to 127%, 50 percentage point increase. And that became unsustainable. So the U.S. household need to rebalance its saving and consumption. That means reduce consumption, increase saving. And that will further suppress the consumption demand. So if you put all those factors together, that means we are entering into a period which demand is replaced. However, before the crisis, the capacity was building up. So huge excess capacity was there, or alternatively, underutilization of the capacity becomes an issue. According to the statistics, March this year, capacity utilization rate in the US was 69.1%, less than 70%. And it was the lowest since the record was kept in 1967. In Japan, the capacity utilization rate was around 60%. And in some other developing countries, the capacity utilization was only about 50%. And with such a large underutilization of capacity, the global economy has a danger of coming to some kind of vicious cycles. Because with excess capacity, it's hard to find good investment opportunities. That means investment demand will be reduced. At the same time, with excess capacity means firms' performance, profit will be very low. Some need to lay off the workers. Some may go up bankruptcy. And as a result, workers' job security will be hurt. Their confidence about the futures will be replaced. And so they won't have the confidence to increase their consumption. Consumption demand will further reduce. And that means that because of excess capacity, there are some kind of internal driving force to replace investment, consumption, make excess capacity even bigger. Well, this kind of situation occurred in the past because this was not the first financial crisis we encountered. But in the past, other countries or regions encounter financial crisis and encounter the excess capacity situation. They could always, by relying on currency depreciation, to increase their export and to digest their excess capacity. But this time, it's global. There's no way to depreciate the currency and to export our global product to other, galaxy or something like that. So this is likely to be protracted. The main reason is that. Not only so, With this kind of excess capacity, unemployment rate will increase. And the pressure for protectionism will also increase. With this kind of excess capacity, price will continue to fall. And for the financial institution, more assets may turn into passive assets. More loans may turn into non-performing loans. And the attempt to stabilize financial institution may be futile. For example, in October, according to IMF's estimation, the write-down in the US financial system was estimated to be 1.4 trillion US dollars in October last year. And last week, they released another report. It increased to 2.7 trillion, almost double. And the reason was because of the asset price continued to drop. And with the excess capacity building up, asset price will continue to drop. And so more rescue, more bailout may become necessary. So with this kind of dismal forecast, how to find a way out? Well, when we have an excess capacity situation, we changed from a near-classic world, which we can rely on market to adjust the price and to adjust the consumption demand in order to get into equilibrium, to a Keynesian type of world. This equilibrium, market mechanism or price adjustment may not work. For example, with excess capacity, for the government, if they use the monetary policy to reduce the interest rate. But if you have excess capacity, it's very hard to find good investment opportunity. No matter how low the interest rate is, then people may not borrow money to make the investment, or the bank will not give the loan to support the investment because no profitable opportunity there. And also for household, even interest rate is very low. If they don't have confidence about the futures, no matter how low the interest rate, they will continue to save in order to prepare for the rainy days. So monetary policy or the price signal will not work well. Under this kind of situation, we need to have Keynesian type of government intervention. That the government to increase the spending in order to boost the demand. And I think now we have some consensus about this. In the G20 meeting, the leaders now promised that to take some action. However, for a globally coordinated fiscal stimulus, there are some constraints. Some developing countries, they already have a lot of public debt. And the space for the government to engage in the fiscal stimulus is very small. And also for the high-income country, they may not have the limitation of fiscal space because they have the hard currency. They can always use the monetary supply to finance the government bond in order to support the government spending. However, for the high-income country, they may also encounter another constraint, that is, can they find out good investment opportunity or not? If they cannot find out good investment opportunities, the government spend more money now, certainly in the short run, it create a job. But people may expect to pay more tax in the future. And they will start to save for paying higher tax in the future. And as a result, even the government has a very aggressive fiscal stimulus. The total impact on the aggregate demand may not be large enough. And if that is the case, then the recession can be very protracted. And one example was Japan in the 1990s. They encountered a similar situation. However, it took more than 10 years for Japan to get out of that recession trap. But certainly, we can also have other examples. That is China in 1998 to 2002. At that time, China encountered the East Asian financial crisis, and the demand of doesn't drop, so deflationary pressure in China building up excess capacity existed in many sectors. And Chinese government adopted fiscal stimulus in 1998 to 2002. In those 5 years, China maintained at a growth rate of 7.8% per year.